Actually, I just figured out one thing, that I'm speaking after lunch, and that's one of the two most difficult slots in a conference usually. The one before, people are hungry, grumpy, they just want you to shut up and because they want to go eat. After it, you had a good lunch, and you're all relaxed, and your bellies are full, and then I need to keep you entertained and engaged somehow, so that's what we'll try to do during these 45 minutes that I have. So the title I've picked up is The World in High Resolution, a dual use case, pun intended, obviously. And the idea is, as I said, discuss with you a bit and emphasize on discussion, because if I only talk and you don't talk back, it's a bit boring. So discuss about how Earth observation from space is defined and is shaping our everyday. Emphasis on dual use case, obviously, and a bit more than that. So what we'll talk about? A very, very short introduction. I really promise I will not keep you long on that, because you all know Airbus. The history of Earth observation, really in a nutshell, not more than that. Then the dual-use paradigm, I will dive into this a bit. Then we will use Pleiad Neo as a benchmark, because ultimately, with all this introduction, we need to benchmark what I'm saying into reality. Use cases, and then a question, what about security? Because ultimately, the data we are generating needs to be secured. And then a lot and a lot and a lot of nice images, because ultimately, if you don't like what you're seeing, if you don't like the data, it's pointless. So I hope you liked Bora Bora in the meantime, and let's start. Somebody recognize this place? Anybody? People are laughing, but I'm not hearing answers. I can zoom in to help you a bit more. Yeah, Tallinn. I like this image of Tallinn a lot because, let's see if the laser can help us. You can see people in the square. And you can see all the Hansa restaurant, of course, and the stand in front of it. And you can see a tourist group over here. So, and if somebody would put his laundry on the windows, you will also see those. So I like this picture a lot. I'll keep touring around Tallinn just a bit so you can enjoy your own city. I love it, by the way. Here again, a bunch of people. I hope you can see the laser cursor. Nobody plays soccer. Nobody's playing basketball, unfortunately. And last but not least, Freedom Square, because I was about to call it in another name, but a good colleague told me it's Freedom Square. So here it is. Again, not a lot of people, and as I said, very lovely images. So I promised an intro, because ultimately you should know who we are and what we are doing. By the way, I'm Joe. I neglected to say that, and I work for Airbus. Now, everybody knows Airbus because of the airplanes. If you want an airplane, I'm not the right guy, but if somebody wants an airplane, I can introduce you to him. Somebody, airplanes? Nobody. It's OK. So, as I said, Airbus, big name, commercial, the airplane guys, Air Baltics, A220, all of this, it's not us. Helicopters is the other big division. They make helicopters, that's obviously. And then in the middle, we have defense and space. We are the superstar of the news lately because of the merger that we have announced. I cannot comment on it, spoiler, but nevertheless. Defense and space right here. Three main pillars in defense and space. Air power, they're doing military aircraft like Eurofighter and A400M, so far so good. Space systems, these guys are building satellites, and then connected intelligence, the group where I'm in. And within it, there is space digital, which is the entity who's responsible for taking the satellites that we produce and own and to bringing them to the people that actually need them. For convenience, I will skip the other three, although cyber programs, I'm sure people in the audience are interested in them. If you want help, I will get you in touch with those as well. But right now, you're talking to the space digital guy within defense and space. This is one of the two slides I have with numbers. I hate numbers, so I just put two of them. I needed to put one just to show the reach of our group, because ultimately people don't know that we do this type of stuff. People know the airplane and nothing more. So we have 2,600 users. We have 10 satellites, more or less, 2,300 employees. We have 27 stations. ultimately 50 years of experience in this market, and the spread is pretty much global. As you see, we have offices in every continent except Australia, unfortunately. That's too far away. And if you want to know exactly where, these are the cities where you can find us. Toulouse, of course, being the headquarters, is highlighted, but myself, I'm based in Germany, in this very, very, very long named city. That's the office. I live in a nicer place called Constance, but nevertheless, if you're interested in finding us, this is the cities where you can find us, at least, the Space Digital Earth Observation Group. And since we mentioned Toulouse, and we went through 4 slides without a nice image, in case you haven't been there, this is Toulouse. This is not the office, obviously. The office is somewhere else, but I just like the city because the architecture is stunning, and it's actually called the Pink City, and you can see why from the image itself. I promised history, not a lot. In the meantime, you can enjoy the Marina Bay Hotel. Anybody been there? Nobody been there. You've been there. Is it that beautiful? More beautiful, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, even our satellites doesn't do justice to the hotel, but nevertheless, it's one of my favorite images simply because we took it with a very shallow angle, so you can really see the facade of the entire hotel, and you can even see the stunning infinity pool over here. But as I said, some history, because we need to know where we started to understand where we're going, and the dawn of remote sensing. You know, human beings always thought to look behind the hill. That's since the beginning of time, we always wanted to know what's behind the hill, what's hidden from us, and we had to develop the ways to do it. This is how we started, unfortunately, back then. It's not a joke. The first Earth observation device was strapped to a bird, a dove, and it was taking pictures, and this was the beginning. And the images, I'm skipping a bit forward now. In 1986, some of the people in the audience are senior enough to remember that era in time. The images were received like this. As you can see, very high-tech, very digital, very fast. We can do it again in case you missed it. So this is how images were acquired in 1986. It's not that long ago, 40 years. The image back then looked like this, and I dare you to understand where is it or what is it. It looks more like art. Anybody can guess where it is? Nobody. I will help you. I will zoom in. Now you surely can see where it is. The people who speak French don't cheat. Nobody can venture a guess. Fair enough. It's a... that thing, yeah. Nuclear, yeah. Chernobyl, yeah. Today, it looks like this. So, like this, you can identify for sure how Chernobyl looks. You can even see the details on the reactor. You can see the details on the roof. And a couple of days later, a different angle, but still same level of details. So from that point in time to today, this is how the data evolved. This is the type of quality we are getting. Further to that, if back then, when somebody needed to get data, he needed to have a friend somewhere, he picked up the phone, he sent a letter, he double-stamped it, and etc. And after 2 months, somebody answered back. Today, you guys, the users, can simply drive the satellites by yourself. You can just log into the portal, submit a request, you'll get an image, everything very digital. So we evolved in this sense as well. Now, with this evolution, the problem begins, unfortunately. So, dual use. While you're enjoying your neighbors in Latvia, I will start introducing this little paradigm that we have in the sense of dual use and dual use systems, and what do we do with them. Luckily, the Space News people helped me. This is fresh from the press. It was released some days ago, not much, and they say that the money is pouring into defense, the dual use is the sweet spot, and I highlighted a segment. and I will not let you read it because it's pointless, but it says that the companies that will invest and create systems which are dual use, we will make money and everybody will be happy, etc., etc., etc. So far, so good, but what does it mean exactly, all of this nice article? Sorry. It means ultimately that we need to have one satellite, or we should have one satellite to do everything. And what I mean is, yes, defense, obviously, but many other type of applications, such the one I'm listing here, oil and gas, urban mapping, agriculture, etc., etc., etc. So far, so good. We've identified what it means, but still, what is it, a dual-use satellite? So I asked ChatGPT to give me a definition, because that's what people do today when they don't know something. They just ask ChatGPT, and he gave a definition, and of course, you will not read all of it, but ChatGPT is saying that a dual-use satellite is the one that can serve both civilian and military purposes. Great. Thank you, ChatGPT. And yet, the question is, who is defining if a satellite is dual use? In the sense of, okay, we understood that a satellite that's serving defense and civilian people is dual use. But am I saying it? Are you saying it? Are you saying it? Who's really defining this? We'll table this discussion? No, not yet. We'll table this discussion later, and we'll continue with the discussion. But we will get to this point, who's defining, don't worry. We will use Pleiad Neo as a benchmark, and ultimately we will see through this satellite system, I hope we will see if it's dual use or what it is. In the meantime, you're looking at one of my most favorite image. Yeah, I say it a lot, but this one is truly magnificent because of this artifact right here. Now, when we got the image, my colleague said we shouldn't display it because there is this starburst effect and it's not very pretty. I say the opposite. For me, it is an image we should display. Can anyone venture a guess why this artifact? What is it? Anybody? Speak. I have a microphone, but you don't have it? Exactly, thank you. So this is the sun reflecting from a window, and this is picked up from a satellite in space. So this is how sensitive is the sensor of Pleiad Neo, which means it is so sensitive it can pick up these type of things and generate this type of artifacts. So for me, if somebody ever needed to quantify how sensitive the telescope is, it's not only seeing the people or the laundry in the window, but it's this type of things that shows how powerful it is. The second slide of numbers, and that's it, no more slides, but we need to start benchmarking. So this is Pleiad Neo in numbers, because usually you need numbers to benchmark. We can talk about the resolution, 30 centimeter, yes, it's nice. We can talk about the capacity, 1 million square kilometer, yeah, it's a lot. I will draw you to one thing, which again, my colleagues skip usually, and I will actually focus on. This thing in the bottom. 100% funded by Airbus. What does it mean? Nobody paid us to do it. No government came, gave us money to say, build it. No military told us to build it. No loans from European Union, World Bank, Commission, government, our home countries. Nobody gave us money to do it. We financed it by ourselves. 1 billion is the price tag from the kickoff until the end of life. 1 billion with a B. All coming from the pocket of Airbus. And this is important because ultimately, and now we're getting to the answer, who's defining what. If somebody gives you money to build something, he should have a say in defining what this something is doing. At this point in time, when we kicked off the project, we did it by ourselves because we thought that it's good to have it with these specs, and nobody gave us a euro. And now, let's see if this thing that is flying and delivering all these beautiful images is what? Civilian, military, dual use. Don't forget, Airbus Defence and Space, the name is very bombastic, but we are still a civilian company. We are not a military, we're not a government, we are not anything. We are a private company. You can buy your shares in the stock, so which means that all of this is purely civilian from A to Z. So first example, let's go to the sexy stuff. Russia, Ryazan, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And we're looking at this area right here, and I picked one of the most challenging areas because this is where the true strength of a system is shown, when it's snowy, when it's a low sun angle, and this is where you can really see the power of the satellite. So in this sense, this airstrip right here, we will zoom in, and what you can see is the difference between the 50 centimeter older generation and the new one, up here and also here. You can even see the number on the tail, not tail, wing, sorry. You can see here some details, the transfer boom shadow. You can still see the airplanes, obviously, but this type of details were not accessible with 50 centimeter resolution. But this is a military target, this is a military use case, used with and done with a civilian satellite. Reminder, Pleiad Neo, purely civilian. So let's continue. Same airfield, other areas, still nice airplanes, still zooming in to give you the difference between 50 centimeter older generation and today. Here and here again. I will give you a few more seconds to appreciate the image and to start thinking or start to come with an answer. What are we discussing here? Dual use, civilian, military, and why, ultimately? Next example, enough with war. Let's do some fun things. Coachella, USA, it's a very nice music festival. Somebody attended? Somebody likes music festivals? No, never mind. So this festival here, we were approached by the organizers because they told us that we need to help them monitor the events. They want to know where the tents are. They want to know where the people are. They want to know that all the toys they're putting are in the correct place. So we took the image of the area, of course, which is here. And we have all the tent count, 10,238. I trust the intern that count them. I'm kidding, the intern didn't count, the machine counted, but I trust the machine. So we counted the tents, we made sure that the compound is how it was supposed to be. Then we did further analysis because ultimately we are paid a lot of money to do serious analysis. So we got the layout of the grounds, which is this one, and we started comparing with what was actually there. So you can see this big tent is existing. You can see that this weird shaped thing in the middle is actually very tiny. You can see the big stage with the big fireworks, of course. No intern was sent there to take the picture, I promise, but nevertheless. And then we deep dived because we enjoy playing with our images, and we went and found all the toys that they were supposed to be displaying. So you can see them here, here, and here, and here. Don't ask me what they are supposed to be, but yeah. They were there, and we can validate they were there. So if before we were talking about a purely military application, nothing beats this one in terms of a civilian. So just for you to know that you can even use satellite data for this type of activities. So we move on, and last but not least is people, because ultimately they wanted to know how many people came, they wanted to know where they parked, if they parked in the correct way, how many tents. So we were asked to see these type of things, and more importantly, in that part of the world, sorry if it sounds bad, a lot of the tents and campers are connected to each other with the car, so it's not easy to differentiate cars and tents. But the question was not how many cars, rather how many tents. So go and pick which one has a tent, which one doesn't have a tent. So again, no intern were deployed here, just a machine, but ultimately we managed to give an accurate count of how many tents were here. Why they needed it, I do not know, but nevertheless, it's here so you can appreciate. Last but not least, something in the middle, agri. Why I say in the middle? Because ultimately food security is important. Food security has national interest aspects. For me, it's not purely military. For me, it's not purely civilian. It's something in the middle. So yes, we all know that remote sensing has a role in agriculture. This is true. However, I will try and show something a bit more extremized, because ultimately this technology allows it. So if we can push the boundaries, why shouldn't we? So microplots trial. What does it mean? It means that we don't want to tackle anymore the mega huge cornfields in Iowa, which are millions of hectares. They are too big. It's easy. We will try and target the microplots, which today agriculture and farmers are using drones to cover them. Now, I'm not saying that a satellite can generate the same resolution of a drone. However, what I'm trying to claim is that with the resolution we are currently having with these satellites, we can do a comparable work in the sense of the image is not as bad as people would assume, or the delta between the drone and the satellite is not that big. I mean, you can see it here. More importantly, I will show it in the next slide, the information you can extract out of it is comparable again. And it's not us saying it because we're Airbus and we like to tap ourselves on the shoulder. We did the work with our partners, Arvalis and Teres Inovia in France. So these guys validated our assumptions and said more or less what I'm repeating. But instead of me speaking, I will just show a couple of slides and we will understand a bit better. So what we were trying to understand is if using the spectral bands of Pleiad Neo, I skipped that part in the first slide with the numbers, we have 6 of those. So if using the spectral bands of Pleiad Neo, we can derive the same information on the health of the crops as you can do with a drone. I mean, in theory, a drone flies lower, it should see better, it should be better. Let's not kid ourselves. It is better, because ultimately flying at 300 meters is better than 500 and something kilometers. However, it's not about how pretty the image is, it's how much information you can take out of it. And in this sense, you can see again the leaf chlorophyll content from Pleiad Neo versus the drone. They're not that far off each other in the sense of you get the same level of information. Yes, the drone has a higher level of granularity in the sense that you see maybe higher detail level because it's flying lower. But at the end, if you try and compare, we are not that far off. And the benefit is that when you shoot an image from a satellite, you catch all your microplots in one image. When you fly a drone over these plots, then good luck stitching each other these images and making one coherent image out of it. So it's a lot of post-processing work. So here it becomes a question of time and where you're deploying your time. But ultimately, in our opinion, the results are reasonably comparable. But again, I'm not an agronomist. If there is somebody here who is an agronomist, I'm happy to hear their take. No agronomist, fair enough. And we continue with the same example just from another take, the LAI map. Here you can see the level of granularity that we are displaying. We are not showing the drone, but ultimately the idea is that we can tackle plots between 6 and 60 square meters, which is actually not that big, and we can do the same work that agricultural firms are doing today with a drone. Or, sorry, I will rephrase it. We can support the users and service providers who need to do the work. Ultimately, we are just a data provider. However, the argument can be made that this type of data can be used. Another one, instead of microplots, is permanent crops. In this sense, we're trying to see if we can use satellite images to understand if we can monitor these plantations in the sense of understanding trees, where they are, how healthy they are, count the trees, etc., etc. Now, one could argue, I was assuming one of you would, why not just walk your field and count the trees yourself and check if they're healthy? Yeah, you can. However, it's a lot of time, and why not have a satellite image do it for you? So in this case, here it is. We're talking about extensive plantations where you can see the image here, but more importantly, you can start deriving chlorophyll maps of this permanent vegetation and see distinctively where there is a tree, how healthy it is, what's its status, and then the same machine that counted the tents can also count the trees. So you get a dual combination, 2-in-1. So again, yes, you can use a drone, but again, the argumentation can be made that you can do the same work with a satellite. So after all of this, Pleiades Neo guys, we are a civilian company. We paid from our own pocket. No military commissioned us. We are not a government. What is it? Anybody? There is no wrong answer. I'm just curious to hear your take, because if you remember, we started this discussion by saying who's defining what is dual use and who's defining what is a satellite to begin with. So guys, help me. You wanted, you were the first, yes, and you raised your hand also. Go for it, Gando.
Is there a microphone or am I heard?
You are heard.
Okay. I would sort of define this classification based on the DG DEFI's last visit's definition. So basically, they said that currently the Commission is looking to scrap this classification of civilian defense dual use because it's of no use to Europe. And if there are defense purposes of currently civilian space technologies, Commission is extremely happy to take a look and to help them move forward.
Okay, so instead of the 3 options I gave you, you came up with the 4th one. We don't have definitions. And Sander had me come here, talk about dual use when the definition is not there. Where is Sander? Thank you. Thank you. Let's try another answer. Anyone? You wanted to say something? Yes?
Yeah, I would venture a guess that it would be dual use because even if it isn't currently used in a dual use sense, it can be used that way. It's the same as if I own a gun and I'm not actively using it, that does not make it not a firearm.
Clever answer about the gun. Last chance. I have some time on the clock because I'm a fast speaker. Anyone else? Yes.
User defines the use.
Thank you. This is what I was about to say. You guys define the use, therefore you get to define if what we are building is civilian, dual use, military, etc., etc., etc. We can tell you what it can do, which is what I'm doing on this stage since the last 20 minutes. No, half an hour already. That's a lot. But ultimately, you guys get to define what you are doing with it, and therefore you are the one labeling this system as you see fit. Of course, you just said there are no labels anymore, but that's another discussion entirely. In the meantime, if you're asking why I'm showing Jupiter, it's just because during the commissioning phase of Pleiades Neo, we were playing around with the satellite and shooting also stars and planets. So yeah, we can also do that, but it's not the main use. Question? No. Now, what about security? Because this is ultimately the other thing that I was asked to focus on. And just today and yesterday, I had 2 discussions with 2 people in the audience about data security and what do we do about it and how can we ensure that the pictures we are taking are not altered or sabotaged or hacked when we are delivering it. Because it's a very good question. And data security is a problem, or at least it is becoming a problem. In the meantime, I hoped you enjoyed the China image. It's very cool. It's the first aircraft carrier they were finishing to build. I also like the fact that we took it in a very shallow angle, so you can see the cranes, and you can see the work done. So yeah, I like shallow angles anyway. So, fake images, real threat. This is a fake image. It's a badly faked one. I couldn't find a good one, but still the point is there. People can take an image, and today they can do with the image whatever they want. The ascent of AI is giving to bad people even more powerful tool to take an image and do what they want with it. Ultimately, a satellite image is a digital entity. It's a file. It's not the CNES guy holding the picture from my previous slide that you cannot alter. It's something that any good hacker could take and alter it. So the question is, how do we deal with it? So there are many solutions. In the audience, there are many good colleagues that have brilliant solutions, and I'm saying it respectfully. We are proposing a different type of solution, not so cutting edge, not so advanced technologically, however, one that can work. And it is working, and in the absence of an alternative, even though they are being generated now as we speak, we are advocating for this one, and I will walk you through it, and then you will see its merit and its drawbacks as well. DRS. But before I explain what is a DRS, I'll start explaining how do people get an image today. So today, normal people like you, no offense on the normal, when you want an image, you log into your computer, you will send the tasking request, everything is going to be centralized by Airbus, we're going to send it to our main operating center, we're going to send the command, we're going to take the image, we're going to downlink the image, we're going to deliver it to the user, and this is the schematics in a nutshell. This is how all of you get an image today. I'm looking around, yeah. This is how all of you get an image today. Now, as I said, what can we do to make it safer? So, or as I said before, how does a DRS work and what is it? And this is, by the way, Sydney. Somebody been to Sydney? Is it this beautiful? Yes, good. So, DRS in a nutshell is this. We, as a satellite operator, have our own main ground station, as I said. We communicate to the satellite via encrypted telemetry, and of course, we get the same telemetry downlinked, encrypted. The only weak link is this one. The cursor is working, but you don't see it. The only weak link is the delivery from our ground station to the users, which is an FTP. It's on the internet, and any good hacker could potentially hack this FTP and alter it. So this is the weak link. So far, so good. I mean, not good, but so far. So the alternative, and this is where we go, instead of high tech, we go low tech. We simply replicate the entire ground segment and put it elsewhere, in the sense of, instead of having the satellite communicating just to the main ground station, the Airbus one, if you are a very, 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 very important customer with a very, 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 very important need, we can simply duplicate the entire ground segment and put it in your country. And by doing that, everything is here. It's not done here. Everything is secure. I will show in a minute why. And more importantly, there is no more weak link of the internet. I'll show you in the next slide, and you will understand it a bit better. This is the same chart that I was showing before for the normal people, for a DRS user. As you see, this part now is much fuller. Why? Because we are duplicating the ground segment physically, not virtually, like real computers, real hardware, real buildings, real everything, and doing it in the country. So the same user is still talking to Airbus because, like him, we are getting hundreds of requests every day, so we need to harmonize the request, and then goes to the main operating center, up to the satellite, images acquired. But after this, everything that was supposed to be done at Airbus is done in the country, in the sense of the country have an antenna, still encrypted telemetry. This one, even if you hack it, it's pointless because it's ones and zeros. You cannot meaningfully alter it in any way. You cannot. It's reaching the processing center. Technically, it's a building with an antenna on top, so nothing to be hacked in the sense of the antenna receives it, shoots it down to the processor. The processor is in the building. You can put police around it or machine guns or whatever, so nothing can hack it. You generate your images internally. You have your own catalog. You have your own cartographic production. Your same user is in the same environment. So ultimately, not very high tech, I will agree, but for these very demanding specific users, by replicating the entire chain, you generate an environment which is not hackable, because unless you storm the building and conquer the building, you cannot hack it. Everything is done internally. Now, you will ask me the first question. I'll ask myself the question for you, because then you will ask the second question. Usually the first one is the most difficult one. So what would the normal person that doesn't get to replicate the entire ground segment do? Let's take the kebab guy in the corner. They also need satellite images. What do the kebab guy do? He cannot have his antenna. He cannot replicate the ground segment. So what does he do? What I was trying to say yesterday during the workshop of Cybernetica was that the image itself is pretty much worthless. Don't get me wrong. We charge you for it, but it is worthless because you all know where the kebab guy is. You all know where the Freedom Square is. Changing an image of a known place, it's pointless, especially when you don't know the reason why this image was taken. In the sense of, my usual nice example, the kebab guy wants to know where they are cultivating the best materials to make kebab. I don't know what it is. And then he takes an image to find these materials. If I'm the evil hacker and I want to sabotage the kebab guy because the kebab competitor wants to sabotage him, I would have to go and see to alter the image in a way that sabotage the kebab guy. But if I don't know why the image was taken, what am I altering? This is one thing to be considered. It's a bit philosophical, but if you think about it, it makes sense. If you don't know the scope of an image, manipulating it, it's pretty much pointless. But more importantly, it is futile, and I tell you why. These images, just like this one of Croatia, where is Daniela, by the way, because she lives there? Daniela, she's not here, that's very disappointing, but nevertheless. All our images, including this one, they are publicly available on our public catalog. So, if you're the kebab guy and you got an image from Airbus and for some reason you are suspecting that an evil hacker hacked the image and did something to the image, you can just go to the public archive, see the same image, and compare. I mean, now, yes, one could argue that even the Airbus mainframe can be hacked, but at this point, everything can be argued that everything is possible. But ultimately, being these images publicly accessible and published, if you have a suspicion that your image is altered, you just go to the catalog and see the original one, and most likely you will see that nobody touched your image, most likely. So this is the first question you should have asked me. And now, in the next 6 minutes we have, I leave the floor to you guys, because I'm sure you have questions. Yes? That is a very good question. Actually, that's a very, very good question. I never got this one before. Give me 3 seconds to find a clever answer. Well, less than 3 seconds. It's a fair consideration, but ultimately, if you're an end user and you don't trust your provider, then don't work with us. Ultimately, we are one of many. We are not the best. Kidding, we are the best, but I cannot say it. So if you want to work with the competition, you are free to work with the competition. If you don't trust Airbus, you don't trust Airbus. Ultimately, by the way, Airbus is a brand. You work with people, so if any one of you will need an image, ultimately after a lot of emails, you'll get to me. So if I'm not inspiring security, if you don't trust me, it's pointless. I can use the brand, I can throw numbers, I can use the power of Airbus, but if you don't trust working with me, with the people of Airbus, it's pointless. So this is the ultimate answer I can give you, and I will accept it. You will not work with me, we will have Vanatali in a bar, and everything is okay. Next question. Yes, I knew you had one.
Well, if we are currently considering this, what is defined as either dual use or defense use. So usually the expectation is that, for instance, if Germany orders some imagery to be taken, first that the same order is not resold to, for instance, well, say the Chinese or the Russians.
I can help you because this is extreme. Let's say they're not resold to the Estonians. Let's use or the French. Let's use friendly countries. Even the French are friendlies. So no, this is what I was trying to say at the beginning. We are a public company. We are here to make money. I'm sorry if I say it like this. We have one commodity to sell, which is images. So when we sell an image, when we sell to Germany the right to take an image, they have the right to take an image at the preferred time and place, and we will do, and they will pay a lot of money. But then if another friendly country or the kebab guy likes this image, he can buy it also. He will pay less money, but he can get the image. Not friendly countries, that's another story. Koreans, Iranians, all the bad guys, they don't get the image because we are following national laws, in the sense of our space laws in our countries prevents us to deliver these images. This is where you and me, the lawyer, will have a chat in January. We cannot deliver data, even if they pay us a lot of money, to bad people. We need to check who these people are. We need to check they're not terrorists, child pornographers, money launderers, and et cetera, et cetera. Not only people, companies, and countries. So Germany can pay a lot of money to get an image, yes. We will resell it to good people, yes. Bad people will not get the image. If they don't want the image to be resold, they will need to pay us a lot more money because then we are losing a potential other revenue. So this is how we do it because, again, we are a private company and we need to make money. Yes, you have another question? No, this gentleman first.
You mentioned that there have been some other consideration of more cutting-edge technologies regarding protecting the images. Can you elaborate?
Yes. Now you need to participate. How many of you use blockchain? Please raise your hand, guys. I need you to participate this time. Only once. You use it, you use it. You, 3 out of 4, the guy, 5. Anybody else? It's a poor statistics. 5 out of roughly, let's say you are 50 here. So when we want to make money, we need our product to be accessible to the most amount of people. So when we need to use technology which 5 out of 50 only use, and when we start telling them we are using blockchain, it's scary. We don't want the people to be afraid. And then they think, what computer do I need? And they need better computers for blockchain, just for an example. And by the way, even blockchain can be hacked. So ultimately, yes, there are a lot of cutting-edge technologies that can be implemented, but until we see that the vast majority of users are mature enough to use them or demanding them, we are not there yet. And look around, 5 out of 50 know what is blockchain and use it. So when I tell the kebab guy, Mr. Kebab guy, you need to have a computer that is blockchain compatible, he will just tell me, Joe, it's okay, we have Vanatalin, but I will buy from the competitor, that's it. If you pay extra, if you have a lot of money to pay us extra, and I mean a lot of money, we'll have a coffee later and we discuss it. 45 more seconds. I hope you enjoyed, in the meantime, Croatia, because there is one more image, Victoria Falls. Last questions. No, we talk later. I'll give the floor to other. Anybody? If not, he will ask. Okay, shoot, it's yours.
Follow on, you said that
Yes.
checking your customers, are you really doing due diligence?
Oh, yes.
All the beneficial owners and who is
Oh, yes. We have an entire department. It's in Germany, of course, in Ottobrunn. It's a black hole. We send stuff there. An armada of lawyers come with 1 million questions, more documents, beneficial owners, company structure, incorporation certificates. Half my time is that. So really, we do. And I think I finished on time, unless there is one more question. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed, and see you around, guys.